And good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody all around the world. It is a round of 8 quarterfinal matchup between Zelgadissan and Ninban. Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Dazed Cloud, and I'm joined in the booth tonight by Tracy M. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, ready for this round. Like you said, we're in the quarterfinals now. Amazing. Just seems like just yesterday we're doing groups or even qualifiers, and now we're getting down to the final 8 runners. Two very good runners here. Zelgadissan versus Ninban. I'm really excited for this race.
Yeah, me too. These guys have been going through this tournament in very different ways here. Zelgadissan is just absolutely blitzing through his bracket at this point. He's gone through Scary Olive, he's gone through Gem and Illis, and has not dropped a match this entire time. So he's one to look out for sure. And then Ninban on the other side has gone through Tito, gone through Plasma Kappa, and Azaz. Man, that is not an easy name to say.
No, it's not.
And is doing really good there as well there. Dropped a couple of matches, but he's in the top 8, which is an incredible accomplishment.
Oh yeah, and Zelga going through Gem having been the number 1 seed at the time. So pretty impressive at that point. And Zelda actually being the 33 seed, Ninban the 25th. So, but at this point, top 64, they're all really, really good. Down to the top 8, not an easy match to be had at this point.
Definitely, and this is game number 1 in this best of 3 matchup here. So we're looking at just a regular old open mode there, a 7/7 crystals, nothing special, nothing getting changed today. We're just gonna run it just the way we go, and we are off with a quick start out of Sanctuary there to get a piece of heart for Zelga, and Ninban's following the same way. We're gonna get him synced up in just a second.
And we get a quick map check. I saw a red pendant over on Eastern and regular crystals on Hera and Desert.
Yep, that is correct there. So we got an early pendant Eastern, which is one of those things that can lead runners to, if they are feeling a bit aggressive, they can go for that quick early Eastern dive and see if they can pull something out of there and break the game open a little bit.
Yeah, the Eastern dive a little bit more appealing without the bow if it is a pendant, because chances are you'll never have to go back there. You won't have to double dip it or anything, but we'll see. Also, if you get the bow, then it's one of those things where, do you want to clear it? Do you not want to clear it? That bow often doesn't really mean Eastern has the progression. It often means that Pod has the progression. So I'll be interested to see what happens if they do get that bow.
Right, and both runners there getting a little bit of early luck there, finding a bomb drop there at the mushroom spot. And what's more is the bush grab there, he's spitting out bombs. So Zelga is already at 10 bombs to get going.
Yeah, it's really nice to have 10 bombs going into Kakariko. I don't have to worry about buying any right away.
And especially then even afterwards, because you can just go and hit the South Shore and really have to worry about looking for additional weapons, because even though Kakariko has all of the items in the game, sometimes you're not going to find anything there.
Okay, Ninban, the first one to show us what's in Blind's hideout. Looks like he didn't quite get the bush crab drop, which is a little unfortunate. We do see a bottle, so we'll be able to check the sick kid before leaving town. That's always nice. And a red boomerang. Not really what they're looking for, but it's kind of nice to have something that you can at least stun your enemies with and not have to worry about getting hit quite as much.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the red boomerang there can be extremely useful for, some of the newer glitches that we found here, just because that little red boomerang makes it so that we can perform some of the newer fake flipper setups. Don't know if we're going to need that yet, but we'll have to see what happens with all of that.
Okay, now Ninban dropping into the well. So far, just finding 20 rupees. A second bottle. More rupees. A lamp. And there's that bow.
Oh yeah,
With
you were
that lamp
talking
and
about
that
it there,
bow, yeah.
Casey.
Lamp and bow, Eastern's completely in logic now.
Yeah, now that is exactly that situation that you were talking about. Where if you're the runner, do you want to go and clear a pendant Eastern first thing?
And it just seems like that never happens when Eastern is a crystal.
Yeah, it's a rare thing, unfortunately. But I would be kind of surprised if either of these runners go over and clear Eastern first. It's one of those things that so far we've only found a lamp, so if you're gonna read tea leaves a little too early, you could be thinking this is an agaseed and everybody's gonna go and do that eventually. But I don't know.
I figure that's certainly not the first thing that these guys are going to do. As we see a cane of Samaria, which is doesn't get us anything right now, but it's nice that they won't have to worry about searching for that later.
Definitely. Well, yeah, and at this point, we're gonna go down and check the library, check race games, see if we find anything there, and hopefully we can kind of get things going and find out exactly where these guys want to go next, because that's the big question.
Such as bombs at the library, so we're not going to come back for those later. And a small shield. I don't think either one of these guys is going to pick up that. And we get a couple of save and quits. And just some arrows at Link's house. Probably going to see some South Shore checks at this point.
Or Ninban's gonna go and take a quick right and head towards that eastern area.
Oh.
Maybe he's gonna go and make that early aggressive play.
A little bit of route divergence is always fun.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit more fun for us to watch for sure. Zelga's going down. He's going to hit the dam here. He's going to first pull out this first item, see if we've got anything of interest here. Just 100 rupees, but I mean, at this point, when you're still looking for money, 100 rupees is nothing to shake your leg at.
And a couple container hearts in Saraslo's closet. Not much else, so a little extra health there for Ninban. Not a bad thing, but certainly not what he's looking for.
And he's not wasting any time. He's going directly into Eastern Palace as we get to find out that buried underneath the water there were just a 3-pack of bombs for Zelda.
How do those bombs even work after being in the water like that?
I'm thinking this is like Twilight Princess. We got some water bombs or something there.
Could be.
I don't remember. I haven't played Twilight Princess in a long time. Oh, Zelga's showing off some bomb strats here for the mini Moldorm.
Oh, that was very nice. Wow, that's not as easy as it looks.
And 4 balls. That is very difficult. And we've got a glove there, a couple of pieces of hearts, a big 20, and bombos. This is really great here. And Ninban is going to make his way to the first chest, and it was something.
I don't know. I couldn't see that either. So we have a lamp and we have a glove. So the question, of course, always, whenever we see a lamp, everybody always thinks towards Aga. We haven't seen a sword yet, so we would need a sword and a cape or 2 swords in order for Aga to even be a possibility. And we haven't seen the moon pearl yet either, so it's very rare that you're going to want to go into Aga without a moon pearl, unless you're pretty much last locationing that moon pearl on the pyramid ledge. Hopefully these runners will find a hammer or a second glove before they find those swords, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to take a look here as soon as we get a chance. As Zelga makes his way into the Ice Rod Cave, pulls out another big 20 and saves and quits. So where's he off to now?
Probably gonna do back of escape right now. That's a very quick check that doesn't really route in with anything else.
good one to get out of the way too when you've got that early glove there, because this is something that, especially if you kind of put this off, I've seen runners forget this.
Oh, sure.
I know I've forgotten this once or twice. So we're going to get the 3 chests out of the back of Escape here as Ninban is making his way through the rest of Eastern Palace. Some blue mail and a heart, and yeah, that's with that lamp and that small key, we're going to go into Dark Cross, find out what we got hiding there.
Yeah, with that lamp, this is completely in logic, so why not just get it done now? Otherwise, good chance you could orphan it completely.
And you're kind of hoping that it's not the map here. That's the biggest risk you take when you're coming over here, but you've got to come back here anyway, so you might as well do it now.
And that's a map.
Yeah, sorry there, Zelga. I do not know my own power, apparently.
Okay, starting at Link's house. Ooh, well, I guess we were wanting to go to Eastern Palace, but is he going to continue? Looks like he's going to go ahead and continue after that hammer.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have no idea whether or not he's picked up the 3 items out of there. I've seen the hammer right now, and that's pretty much it. Zelda is going to go away, and he's going to go through the front of Escape there. And I'm being told that Armos has an item there by our tracker, Reg, who's just, the best. Oh, and we got a book from Uncle.
And that's might push her. Actually, that is potentially full clearable desert. We won't know if it's boots locked. With that lamp and with that glove, we can get to the rest of the dungeon, so long as there's not a big key or the wrong type of small key. Wrong type of small key. Depending on the key layout, we'll just put it that way.
Yeah, exactly. If we're boots locked, we're boots locked, and then there's nothing anybody can do about it for a little while. But we'll find out pretty soon as Ninban's moving his way to the top right, setting up for the quick kill on Armos, gets the first 5 arrows without any problem, and is now just pumping them full of sticks and finds the fire rod.
So this time the bow and lamp to Eastern was not bait. Actually had something there.
That's fantastic. And to think there, Ninban sat at that big chest in the Eastern Palace for a good 2 seconds thinking about, do I want to complete this dungeon or not?
I mean, it's not even a green pendant, so it's not like you even get the extra item out of it.
Oh, that's a huge early find there for Ninban. There's a decent chance that Zelda might get that hammer and go, you know what? Forget it. I don't need to continue in this dungeon at all.
Oh, I think that's an excellent chance, because if the 2 are reversed, there's a chance that he would last location that hammer over at the Armos Knights. But hammer's going to give him Dark World access, and he might say, hey, I've got my Dark World access. This is why I was supposed to go to Eastern, and I'm not going to continue on. So we're interested to see what happens when he gets there.
Definitely. And right now for Dark World access, the biggest thing for I'd say for Zelda at this point that might save him is we haven't found a Moon Pearl yet.
Right.
And
so yeah, they have Dark World access in the sense of they can go into the Dark World and become a bunny or whatever these sprites turn into.
Right. And we're down to the last item here in this. So if this is not our Moon Pearl, that's actually probably very good for Zelda, which will likely force him into completing Eastern.
But is he going to go to Desert first with that book? That might draw him over the other direction. If he finds that Moon Pearl there, then that looks like exactly what he's doing. So he's still in a little bit of trouble there with that. If he finds the Moon Pearl over in the desert area, then once he gets that hammer, I don't see him continuing.
Yeah, this could end up being an early kind of unfortunate routing thing. Now, I mean, with this, it's 12 minutes into the seed. So if you've been watching any of the recent races here, you know not to call a race as finished early. I've seen that mistake being made many times recently.
I mean, all it takes is an ice rod hunt to even things out. And look, a mirror!
Okay, so anybody want to guess that our moon pearl is up on the is up on the mountain?
It could be. We have access to go there, and now we can get to more of it.
And finding that mirror might actually really that's another thing that could have helped Zelga out, because if he comes through later to do pod without finding that fire rod, he might at that point be going, you know what, I'm here and I might as well finish this because
Yep.
back.
Exactly. And Ninban, unfortunately, is going to go check out the desert area without the book. We'll see if he checks the ledge out and finds out about that mirror. Nope, looks like he didn't. And we do have a small key on the torch. So it looks like our desert access is specifically allowing us to get to that mirror.
Right. Yeah, we've got a mirror from desert, and that's about it right now. So this is kind of the game giving you a very linear path. You don't get to complete anything in desert, but you get to come on in, and that's all.
Yeah, because that was, it was an item. I didn't see what the item was in the middle chest. There is a specific key layout where if that small key is on the torch, but if the big key is available in the middle, you can complete the dungeon. But we didn't see that here.
Right. Yeah, you can be technically boots locked without with still having the ability to complete the dungeon right now, and that is I'm gonna have to give a little shout out to whoever the artist is who did the Argus sprite on Ninban's side, because this blue Argus is kind of blowing my mind.
It is pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know what Zelda's sprite is. That's from a game that I've not played, I'm guessing.
That is Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay, Zelda going over to Eastern doesn't have the Moon Pearl yet, so that's good news. He is more likely to go on past that hammer, so we'll see what happens when he gets there.
Yeah, I mean, the hope is that he goes for that all the way through and gets that fire rod on there. That I think both, especially Zelda at this point, will probably breathe a bit of a sigh of relief when he pulls that fire rod out. Oh no.
Oh, not even going into Eastern. That's okay, because he will have to eventually get that hammer. He will get bottlenecked there, but unfortunately, the bad news is there's a better chance now that he's not going to have, that he will have that Moon Pearl when he gets there. That fire rod is still going to be an issue.
Yeah, and this is just one of those things where he's going to end up kind of double routing something here. He's going to have to back. If that Moon Pearl is on East Death Mountain, because he's going to come up to Death Mountain here. He'll not be able to complete Hera unless we find a sword. So there is this is kind of one of these unfortunate early open mode routing choices where you're trying to make the best decisions that you can, and occasionally it just doesn't really work out in your favor here.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's so common to get that bow pendant Eastern. It's really common for that bow to really be for pod, not for Eastern, as far as progression, like we said earlier. So, you know, it's not a bad skip as a general thing. It's just in this particular seed, it's not going to work out for him.
And we're making our way as the old man just gave us a couple of pointy sticks there for that, and Ninban's making his way slowly back to the Zelda cell. Zelda's cell, actually, and oh, that's a nice find on top of Spectacle Rock there, because that will let Zelda be able to complete Hera at least.
Yeah. Yeah, not the most fun Moldorm fight with just the standard fighter sword, although ironically that's what you do in the normal game. But he will be able to finish that off at least.
A
And our
green pendant on Skull Woods, a blue pendant on Meyer, and it looked like 5 and 6 were Thieves Town and Odd, if I saw that right.
so gonna need that fire rod at some point. Skull Woods, of course, needs it, but we don't necessarily need to beat it. But of course, with Turtle Rock being a crystal, not going to be able to get away with not picking up that fire rod. And just looks like just arrows on the ether tablet, so it won't be coming back there.
Ninban's now making the slow walk back through the desert there to go and grab his mirror, and that's about it.
And there it
we
is.
find, oh, this could be rather unfortunate for Zelda. He grabs the Merle out of the basement of Hera here, out of the front basement of Hera.
And no hook shot means we're not going to be able to do the Hera pot. We'll actually have to go down and do the cutscene down here. Not the cutscene, the tile room down here.
Yep, it's gonna be a nice minute or so of just kind of sitting here and watching the blocks break up against Zelga's sprite, and I think he caught himself in between those two blocks. He has to mirror and redo it again. That's an oof right there. Fortunately, if you end up in that one little position where you are kind of caught between the 2 points of there, you're not able to move. And since you're not able to move, you can't get in through the door, you can't go up, you can't go down. The only thing you can do at that point is mirror. And yeah, it's not a huge time loss for Zelda at this point, but it's just one more thing for not having the best early start here.
Okay, Ninban picking up his mirror. We'll see if he does the same play up to Tower of Hera. My guess is that's where he's going to head next.
Zelda gets his big key. He's going to make his way up, and I think Ninban is going to be following Zelda up the mountain here. And he'll be able to check a few more things there since he's got the hammer. He'll be able to go directly to Eastern Death Mountain there. They're hard at 9 a.m. in the morning. Ooh.
Oh, and just rupees over there in Tower of Hera for the second item, but doesn't have to go to the big chest. That was the second item there, so he doesn't have to worry about how to cross there. No bomb jumping, no falling down the floor over here. We'll just be able to go straight up to Moldorm and finish this off.
Ninban was going for a little fake flipper action there. I think he was going to kind of try to get the quickest way over to the Ice Rod Cave. Wasn't able to pull it off as Zelda jumps into his extremely fun fighter sword Moldorm fight here. Opting for poke strats, it looks like. When you've got fighter sword, it doesn't really matter how you damage him. Spins or slashes or pokes all do the same thing. As zelgadissan takes him down without any problem right there. Picks up a compass and, more importantly, picks up his first crystal there.
Yeah, Ninban will have an easier fight of that. He will be able to use the mirror if he wants. The hammer to kill Moldorm if he wants to. And Zelda going to save and quit. Probably going to head over to Eastern now. Still doesn't actually have Dark World access. Still needs that hammer. And unfortunately, he's probably going to be leaving that fire rod behind. But we'll see.
Yeah, moment of truth time for Zelda. What exactly is he going to be able to... At what point is he going to say, that's enough? Ninban's getting his information about what is hiding here in the dark world as he turns into an Argus puff. Oh, that's adorable.
That's beautiful. And fortunately, with Swamp not a pendant, we will get to see the Argus versus Argus fight, so that'll be fun.
Baby Argus versus giant Argus there.
Yep.
Finally, we can get a little bit of confirmation on what is this first chest over in Eastern. Tracker was guessing 5 rupees. It was the compass. Ninban picking up that moon pearl, he now has full dark world access. He can go pretty much anywhere except that places that require the mitts. So
Yep.
he's putting himself in a pretty good situation here. 23 minutes, I mean, you'd rather have it faster, but to be honest, that you're not going to complain too much as he's he's now playing a game of dodge 'em with the tiles here. Finally gets hit.
Yeah, that's not easy to do. Which is why so many people use the so-called coffee break strats there.
Definitely. Anytime that you are holding an item, you move slower. So you're giving yourself a little bit of an extra disadvantage there just by doing that as he picks up his big key and he's going to climb the tower now and go ahead and get his first crystal as well.
And really nice to have the mirror in that situation rather than having to either death warp out of there or walk all the way out of there.
I have to admit, I'm so used to at this point seeing Harapot that like going through these like 3 rooms, just it feels slow, even though it's really not that much slower.
Okay, we're almost to the moment of truth on Zelga's side.
If you're a Zelda fan here, you definitely want him to continue on with the rest of the dungeon and not leave one item behind, because it could be really bad for him if he does. We're gonna find out. Grabs his hammer and
alrighty then, he is going to keep going. He is going to be very happy with that decision.
Yeah, so it's going to put pretty much these runners on an equal footing going forward from here. So,
or is he just going to pick up the money and leave? I mean, I like the play of picking up the money, gets him closer to that Zora money. Okay, he didn't just immediately save and quit, so it looks like he is going to keep going. I think he did pick up the key, so we're good. He's going to keep going. He's going to get that fire out. We're going to have a nice close race so far. Not that this would necessarily mean the end of his chances of winning, but it would certainly put him behind early.
As Ninban's having a little trouble there over on the Moldorm fight there. Moldorm not wanting to play too nice with him, knocking him off one time there. He comes back, hits him 3 times with the hammer, and he's going to get his first crystal right now as Zelda is about to go into his Armos Knights fight. Parry drop there right before. Saves him having to fill up any health there as he plugs him full of the first 5 arrows and is just making his way down. They all explode and he gets his fire rod right there.
Okay, meanwhile, Ninban gonna go continue on in the mountain, gonna go ahead and do the East Death Mountain checks. But we'll see what Zelda decides to do. Probably either gonna go towards the Village of Outcasts or perhaps go towards Hype Cave.
Looks like that was a heart container on the lead. Zelda is deciding, you know what? I've got everything that I could possibly need to finish off Pod. Let me go there right now.
Not a bad call at all. Pod, a
Yeah, I
very
mean,
bad go mode dungeon in general, unless the big key is in a really nice spot. Plus, you have those 5 items there, so might as well just get it done now. You have the bow, you have the lamp, so you don't even have to do dark rooms. And you have that hammer.
and there's a good chance that that the routing on this could really work well for him, because if he does this and then saves and quits and starts over around the Kakariko and goes into Thieves Town immediately, he'll have both Pyramid Fairy crystals. So when he curls around the bottom and checks out Hype Cave and that, he can just immediately jump right into that Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, that'll be
some
really good play.
excellent routing.
See some red mail over. We get purple Argus now. I didn't see the second item. I like that color though. That's a really neat color.
Okay. I think we've got a little bit better stream quality now to see what the rest of these items are. We've got a Quake medallion.
Boots. Nice. Oh, that'll be a nice advantage there for Ninban. So the big takeaway there are those boots. Quake might or might not be needed. Zelda getting some powder, so immediately bow lock, but we have the bow, so we don't care.
That's kind of good for Ninban to find those boots. Also, though, for Zelda, kind of good that nothing immediately required, nothing immediately helpful. Boots will give you an advantage, but it's not a massive advantage. Now, for these guys, at this point where you're in the top 8, you know, every little bit is huge, but it's a good thing to find so far for sure.
And we get a second sword over there in Hype Cave, so not the best Hype Cave ever, but, you know, Master Sword instead of Fighter Sword, that's a nice upgrade.
You're not going to complain about that. You can now open the Bombos tablet and, you know, Ganon, so, you know, important things you can do, and it looks like that might be where Ninban is headed right now.
Yeah, I do believe so.
One of those early things that you don't want to leave for too long, because it can kind of get isolated fairly easy. Alright, so what do you think? Give us a call here. What's on Bombo's tablet?
Rupees. Oh, it's a hook shot!
Wow!
Not rupees.
That's an incredible find there on the Bombos tablet. That's one of the better places you can find that, because that'll put you right next to Swamp Palace. Now, if we find flippers over here in Desert, I think the routing divergence in this are going to be pretty extreme.
Yeah, I like this routing straight into Desert for Ninban. Once he got those boots, that's probably what is his plan regardless, but getting that hook shot, really nice.
Using these boots there to knock off the key off of that torch, and he'll have to go to the right side, since that's going to be where our key is hiding right now. Man, it is... We're moving pretty fast already.
Yeah, and also the other nice thing about routing Desert this way, a lot of times runners will want to put Desert and Mire together, but with Mire being a pendant, we may or may not ever see that flute, so might as well just do Desert right now. It'd be better if they didn't have to go to Mire.
Zelga's side over there, he pulled off a very nice hammer jump to get into the dark maze over here, and finds a mushroom for the trouble here. To be honest, I haven't really seen anything of interest in Pod yet.
That mushroom so far being the most interesting item, which of course may or may not actually lead to anything. Yeah. Palace of Fetch Quest, yep.
Yeah, that's where we are at the moment here. That mushroom is one of them, again, with Mire being a pendant. not having that flute kind of robs you of any easy way to get over there. A nice half magic pickup, but
Yep. Also, kind of a palace of luxury items because the that powders and the half magic. I like to consider those luxury items. Nothing that the runners need, but being able to powder an anti-fairy when you're low, or being able to have that half magic to just have a little bit extra for your fire rod on, say, a cold stare fight or something. Just nice, nice safeties.
oh, definitely, the powder can bail you out of many kind of an awkward situation, especially in some of those late game dungeons where everything hit extremely hard.
Mushroom, on the other hand, just gets us a check, and doesn't even get us the fake power because we don't need it because we have the real stuff.
Fake powder, that's one of those tricks that, like so many other tricks in this game, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it works. So
Yeah.
you know, we'll take it. Simultaneous moving walls on both sides here. Zelga's making his way into the basement of Pod, and Ninban seems to be halfway through his Landmo fight. Down to 2 hearts there. You gotta kind of be careful. Even though you have red mail, the rocks from Landmo will actually do a full heart of damage here. As he picks up a bottle from there and picks up his second crystal there.
I
And
believe
he's now finished the whole Light World dungeons.
Yep, bottle number 3.
Bad thing so far, for sure. As we're going to go into Helmasaur on this side, there is a quick 17 shots there. He's opting to just walk straight up and smack him in the face with the hammer.
Just using that fighter sword for poke strikes. Okay, switches over to the bow.
And down goes Helmasaur. Nice, fairly quick fight there. Picks up a blue boomerang for his troubles. So, yeah, you got a lot of fetch quests out of Pod, but you get your second crystal. So that is a great start there for Zelda. Ninban is going to start working through some of those Southern Dark World checks now.
Okay, Zelga's saving and quitting. Let's see if he... At this point, I figure either goes to Village of Outcasts or maybe decides to check East Death Mountain. Sanctuary would be the starting point for either one of those. No one, he has the old man saved. Never mind. So it looks like he's going to head over to Village of Outcasts.
It's time there. This is the biggest time where you'll find where you see the difference between the boots and no boots is on overworld movement here. Like there are things where Zelda looks like he's almost stutter stepping down. He's using a technique called pumping there to kind of raise his speed slightly. He's gaining a frame or two pretty much every time he does that. It adds up over the time here, but on the other side, Ninban can just hit, the A button and just take off. He's going to have a much faster rate of movement around this area just to get whatever he does there. Ninban remembering, oh yeah, Stumpy.
And just a piece of heart for that. Zelda having to go around the long way to get to the Dark World axis, forgetting for a moment that he didn't have mitts. Gonna do these Village of Outcasts checks, and probably do Thieves Town at the same time.
Okay. Well, we're now all the way through about 38 minutes with Ninban going making his way over to pod. Zelda is going to go for his second red crystal here in town. Picks up just a big key.
Yeah, let's just take a look at what are we missing overall. We don't know what the medallion requirement for Turtle Rock is yet. So if that's ether, we're going to be missing that. Beyond that, we are missing not a lot, just the ice rod between the two and the flippers. Because we do need flippers for swamp. We can't fake flipper through swamp. Turns out you can fake flipper into swamp using splash deletion. You just can't get out of the water.
That's a small problem there.
It really is.
You could go over and look at that fountain over in the corner and go, ooh, pretty, and then just have to save and quit.
And so far,
right.
Thieves Town, I believe, has just given us another bottle. That's all 4 bottles found.
All 4 bottles there. Nice trip up to the witch's hut. Just get yourself a whole mess of blue goo or something there. So again, we are in game 1 of the round of 8, the quarterfinal of the Link to the Past Randomizer fall tournament here. This is a game 1 match between Zelgadissan and Ninban. The winner of this will go on to meet the winner of the P-Train Jet races that are on the schedule for next week. So stay tuned here. There's going to be lots more rando over the next couple of next week and a half or 2 weeks, and it's going to be some of the top runners going at it every single time. So this should be a really exciting times.
And bombs for Zelga. Still not seeing much in Thieves Town.
And maybe this is just, hey, get the red crystal, and that's all you're gonna get so far.
Yeah, it could be. Thieves Town is one of those dungeons that, on the rare occasion where you can actually go mode it, it really isn't much of a go mode dungeon anyway. So getting it done early, has such a low requirement to get into it anyway. If it's a crystal, it makes sense to just do it.
I mean, I'd be willing to bet that if you wanted to look at the stats for something like Thieves Town, there's a really good chance that it's the first dungeon for most people to come.
It happens a lot that it's the first dungeon, because all you need is Dark World access and a weapon of some sort to kill blind.
Yeah, I'd probably put it at like 25% of the time at least.
Yep.
We get a small key there for Zelda, so we're gonna have to go over to the big chest and see if that thing's got anything interesting.
Nice that we do have the hammer, so we don't have to leave this behind. That's the one thing that'll keep people out of Thieves Town, is not having that hammer. We find the last fetch quest, the shovel.
Yay! Ninban's going for a hammer yump over there on his side. He had a little bit of a misadventure there the first time. He's trying to get the exact setup there. Looks like he's got it this time, and yep, hops across, and he'll be able to pick up his mushroom out of the dark pit. Go into our, as we know now, scripted blind fight. 9 hits with any damageable weapon, and taking a little bit of a ding there. So we're off script, and time to scramble a little bit. But he'll probably.
But he finishes it off.
Here we go. That's a fight and a nice blind kill with a 20 rupees and your 3rd crystal.
And that's all we get, is our 3rd crystal, but that's very important. Unfortunately, not a whole lot of progression there in Thieves Town. This might send Zelda to the mountain a little bit sooner, get those boots. And then that could lead him over to... Actually, he might pick up that hook shot before he even gets the boots, which would make the trip to the mountain a little bit more appealing, a little bit quicker.
Yeah, right. At this point, we're going back up to that mountain. You doing it with the mirror portal and the hammer. I mean, it's possible. It's just slow and not particularly fun.
One more
What do you
Village of
got here?
Outcasts check. We have more rupees. And of course, the important item that I forgot to list off in our Go mode set is we do still need mitts. It's a pretty important item. Looks like we're going to get a powder check over here. That's a good call on Zelga's side.
In the area, and especially not having flute, you know, nobody knows exactly when you're going to be back in here. So,
and given that we don't have to do mire, we don't really want to. Not finding that flute would not be a bad thing, because keep us away from that mire area.
Definitely, and our good friend, our purple bat friend, curses us with a thing of
bombs.
3 bombs. Hey. Well, now what?
Pop back into that mirror portal and head down to the south part of the Dark World. Like you said earlier, probably going to head and do all these checks right here and probably finish up with that Pyramid Fairy.
That seems like probably the easiest way to get through things. I'm starting to, although thanks to us knowing everything that's down here from Ninban, I'm starting to look kind of suspiciously up at Skull Woods. That's the one place that we haven't really gone yet. We've had that fire rod and all that good stuff. Starting to look a little suspiciously at that. I don't know if you were around when the latest data dump about this about the game came out.
Well, we are going to be running out of checks pretty soon. We do have that we have not seen from either runner. We do have that Pyramid Fairy in Skull Woods, I believe, is the other major area. And Zelda wants some money. Oh, of course, we haven't seen any of the Zora area, which not in logic except for Zora itself. But every runner in this tournament can do the fake flippers if they want to check the rest of the items.
Hey, we're getting a double archery game over
we want Zora money here, I think.
This is so far that's 9 arrows and 9 bullseyes there. So he's got enough money for the entire time.
So it may be that he's going to do the southern checks over here. Hopefully he does do that Bombos tablet and remembers to do that, since he has both Book Mirror and will get the Master Sword, since I can't imagine him skipping Hype Cave. And then Pyramid Fairy, and perhaps from there into a Catfish Zora check.
And it looks like Ninban's probably going to beat him over there, as he's up on the pyramid right now. And there's our mitts.
Those mitts.
Ooh, so that's really nice for Ninban. They're getting that a little bit before Zelga, but Zelga's getting his routing this really well. He's going to be able to check the shovel spot right now, and also finding bombs.
No, let's say
seems to be a theme.
Yeah, let's hope that mushroom is a little bit better for them.
I'm just going to go out there right now and say the mushroom's probably bombs.
That's what I was thinking.
Ninban just blasting right by the easiest chance there to get the mushroom, and remembering, oh yeah, I should probably go do that mushroom. Alright, so we're gonna get an early check on this here before Zelda makes his way around. I'm betting bombs, but you know, we'll see.
And it's flippers. Oh my god. Okay,
that's much better.
That is much better. So we are down. Oh god. Barring Ether being the entrance into Turtle Rock, we are down to the Ice Rod.
Oh boy. Everyone's favorite Go Mode item, the Ice Rod.
So if you're rooting for
Ooh.
Zelda, you want that Ice Rod to be in a nice obscure place that he checks that Ninban does not. Unfortunately, Zelda did not take that Master Sword over to the Bombos tablet. Is not going to get his hook shot right away.
Oh, that is a bit of a shame right there, because that's just one more thing for him to find. Ninban has been routing this really well, and since he just got those flippers, he's not going to have to try to do any sort of splash deletion or anything like that. He can just swim right into the cave and find
There's a flute.
Find the flute.
Yeah, we'll just. I think we'll just ignore that flute for a little while. Probably go ahead and activate it just for easy travel, but maybe check the Mire. I can't see them going into Mire yet. There's too many other good choices.
Right, and we weren't really looking at it at the time, but I guess our good friend Mr. Catfish was handing out swords today.
Yeah, and that tempered sword being really nice. At the moment, they had been at a Master Sword Silverless for the Ganon fight, which both these guys will be able to do, but just that much easier if you don't have to.
Definitely.
And nothing in the Pyramid Fairy.
Oh, getting a green bottle fill up there from the pyramid, and Ninban got 300 rupees back from Zora, so a bit of a rebate. Assumption is here he's headed into Swamp.
Oh yeah, it would make a lot of sense to go here now. Zelda looks like he's gonna go get his flippers. He might also go into Swamp. That might push him over to. Actually, he's not going into Swamp without that hook shot. Might push him over to that Pombos tablet to try it first. Or those gloves might push him up to Death Mountain, because now he has all those extra checks he can do on the dark side. Of course, still no hook shot, so unless he can hover, not gonna be able to get anything out of Hookshot Cave.
Yeah, this is one time where it's Ninban has done just excellent with his routing. He's having pretty everything just kind of fall into his lap here. It's been a really great thing watching him here. And actually, with that in mind, if you could give these runners a follow, I mean, if you enjoy watching Randomizer here, these are two of the best to follow for sure. You'll learn a lot from watching them. Being in the top 8, they know this game backwards and forwards. So yeah, definitely, if you can, give them a follow. Also, big shout outs right now to our tracker Reg, who's just clicking all the buttons behind the scene and keeping, making sure that we know where everything is.
Yeah, big shout outs to Reg there, doing a very nice job.
Best in Swamp Palace was just the map, and deciding not to pick up that sword. Zelda, are you okay?
No, he's going back for it. That was the, Catfish has nothing. I'm going straight into the mirror portal. Oh, wait, I want that. Oh, shoot, I've already portaled. He's going to go back. So he's gone back and he's going to get that. Now, I don't think Ninban did continue on here and check the rest of this area. So if there's an ice rod here, that's going to be a big play for Zelda.
No, he did, yeah.
He did check. Oh, right, because he had that like the 300 rupees on and we had the flute. Never mind.
Nah, it's all good there. It's all good. But I mean, how much do you want to bet that flute puts the ice rod over in Mire?
That's not where I'd want to go for, but if Zelda were to bet on it and get that ice rod, really at this point, Zelda needs to find that ice rod first. Their routing, both players have had really good routing, even though it's been different. I think those boots just slowly but surely, the longer that Ninban has them and the longer that Zelda doesn't, just the time adds up.
Yeah, definitely. Ninban's just making his way back to the back of Swamp Palace the way that kind of the typical way for most people, because when you are down to your single item there, you don't have a whole lot of interest in going to left side swamp. A slow, laborious check. So you don't really want to go over there unless you absolutely have to.
Yeah, and you might even see him leave the left side behind and check it later if he has to.
the fun of ice rod hunts. It's the one item in the game that has exactly one location where it really can't be.
That's right. Oh, so we got a big key, so Ninban is going to go ahead and go back up and check the big chest. See if you can avoid the
Walk
double
back down the
stairs.
stairs.
Yeah,
Oh.
nicely done. There is that nasty little glitch on those stairs that will force you back down for some reason. There are ways to avoid it, and it looks like Ninban knows one of the ways to do it.
Impressive there. And the fun thing about that is that you can just then turn around and walk right back down the stairs, and you've still already pushed the switch, so you don't even have to worry about it.
Okay, let's see where Zelda decides to go.
Ice Palace
Oh, Ice Palace. Okay, I mean, that's a reasonable choice at this point. It is a crystal dungeon he has to clear. And we aren't, Ninban not being in go mode yet, he may not lose any time to Ninban here other than those boots, and not the best place for boots.
Yeah, it just kind of comes down. This is almost one of those things where you actually probably don't want the ice rod in here.
Yeah. The one questionable thing about this choice is, of course, without the hook shot, we know it's not going to be here. He's not going to find it here, and of course, this could be hook shot locked.
Being hook shot locked would actually probably help Zelda, because he knows the logic well enough that he could just basically decide, you know what? Yeah, that means I don't have to do this. As we missed the baby Argus killing the larger Argus over there on Ninban's side for his fourth crystal. And yeah, he's got a decision to make here. Where do you want to go now? Lots of options remaining, and just looking for an ice rod. So left side swamp is not on the menu today here.
Yeah, not really a surprise. He can go back there later if he wants to. It's a little bit slower to go back later because, of course, you have to go through the whole process of setting up the dungeon with the mirror, but. And I not sure if he left one item or two items behind at this point. If it's two items, it's maybe a little better to go in. If it's only one item, it's certainly very reasonable to go ahead and skip it for now.
Yeah, according to our tracker, he left two items behind there in left side swamp. So, see if that comes back to bite him. Probably not, but we'll have to see. Zelda goes bowling for pen gators there and takes them all out in one easy swing. And he's just going to go directly to the drop down here. He's not going to first check to see if
he's going to go for a bomb jump here.
Yeah, he's not going to check first to see if we're hookshot locked here. We're going to have to find that information out a little bit later as he nails his bomb jump there first try.
So the Ice Palace hookshot situation. So for this to be hookshot locked, that would mean if the big key were on the first chest, the freezer room chest, or the ice tea chest, that would make it hookshot locked. Also, if there are no small keys available, actually I think you have to have both keys available to make it not hookshot locked. In the first case with the big key, the reason why those big key locations make this hookshot locked is because there are two locked doors behind the big key door, which would then leave you 3 keys for 4 doors. And because the game assumes that you're going to clear these dungeons in the least efficient or worst possible way, it will not allow the hookshot to be back there, just in case you do open all the doors but the one to the right side.
Yeah, and from what I'm guessing right now, that is 100% hookshot locked.
Yeah, there was a key on that side.
Yeah, we had 2 small keys in the on the right side, it looked like, and the big key. So I mean, that is about as hookshot locked as I think you could get.
Yeah, and that's the hookshot lock where you just literally can't get over there without a key because you don't have one. I mean, I guess you could. There is a way you could steal the one key that's available under a pot, but that involves some shenanigans we don't really want to go through. I think it actually involves mirroring out. I'm not sure.
At some point, some of this gets a little bit like in the weeds here, and to be honest, most, unless you're racing the game, it's not something you really need to worry about too much.
Well, yeah, and the whole thing with Ice Palace is we do the Ice Palace bomb jump, so we often forget about the intended way to do this dungeon.
Oh, the intended way to do this dungeon in the vanilla game is one of the most convoluted things
It
around.
really is.
It's absolutely silly. As it looks like Zelda has picked up all 3 items out of Eastern Palace there.
Or
like
ice.
Ether, or Ice Palace, right? And yeah, it looks like Ether was the only thing of particular interest.
Well, that gives us access to Turtle Rock without the ice rod. So it'll be interesting to see if either one of these guys decides to go for a ice rodless Turtle Rock dip. I don't think we're there yet. I think there's still other better decisions they can make, but it could come up.
I feel like that's likely to happen once they've cleared all of the other ones, just because gambling that it's there seems to be the way that is most of us do this at some point here. As Zelda picks up his 4th crystal there from Cold Stare, takes him down with a nice sword spin and then a whole lot of Fire Rod.
Yeah, and that fight being one of those places where that half magic is really nice to have, so you can just use that Fire Rod a lot more.
Doesn't matter really, like, unless you have red mail, those puffs hurt quite a bit. So, just being able to sit there and just light them all up, it's a nice feeling.
Okay, here's a new check on Zelga's side. We're going to see the hobo. I don't believe we saw this on Ninban's side. Most likely Ninban does this right after he's finished with Ice Palace, though.
Hey, hobo, are you holding our go mode item? You wake up from your thing, hold up a bottle, and it turns into a piece of heart. So, nope, it's not you, I guess.
Oh, we are going to get a Mire area check.
On Ninban's side, I don't believe he did. He activated his flute yet.
I don't believe he has.
So this was a place to. This is a place where the Ice Rod could be, where it holds. It wait a little bit here. I think he's still mostly looking for a hook shot. Not gonna find it here. It gets just 20 rupees. Probably on his way over now to check Checkerboard Cave, since he knows that Desert is also.
Yeah, and we do have a Quake, so that's good for Zelga at this point, because he doesn't have that Quake medallion yet. Unless, of course, the Ice Rod is in Mire, which we hope not.
There's always that chance there, as that's a bug net sitting in Checkerboard Cave.
Yeah, not picking that up.
Yeah, we're not playing swordless. I don't need to kill the wizard that way.
Okay, so Zelga going to Death Mountain, so he will pick up his boots, and we'll be able to do a few other checks here. At least 3, depending on his hovering prowess in the dark Death Mountain area. Could also check Spike Cave at the end if he wants to, and depending on that medallion requirement over on Turtle Rock, he might even go ahead and dip Turtle Rock at this point.
Oh yeah, and Ninban cut that a bit close on that Cold Stare fight there. Down to a half of heart left and pulls it out. Ooh, that would have been the worst possible place to die outside of like the top of GT Tower, because you have to go all the way back through Ice Palace if you die there. But kudos to him for clutching that out.
Okay, we see. Looks like Zelga sees the container heart over on the floating island. Looks like he's going to go through Spiral Cave first.
Now, if you're feeling behind, take the risky gamble and just say, you know what? I think Turtle Rock is going to have something.
It's not a bad idea. I mean, if you're Zelga, he's going to get his boots in a second, so he's going to need Ice Rod and a hook shot. Either one of those things would be good finds for him. Obviously, we know he's not going to find a hook shot, but to his mind, he could. And of course, that Ice Rod would be a really nice find there if he gets it right away. I just realized Ninban still hasn't done Thieves Town. This is...
Hasn't he?
It's not lit up on the tracker.
I want to say I've seen him in there, but I might not.
I don't think we have. We saw Zelga do it. And I trust our tracker here.
Yeah, 100%. He says Ninban hasn't been to the Village of Outcasts yet, so okay, yeah.
It's unusual to leave Thieves Town for this long, but he's had enough items to do other dungeons, so not a bad play. Other than typically you're gonna want to save ice for a go mode dungeon, and maybe they could have depending on that ether. And Zelga getting his boots, that's gotta feel good. And sees that Quake, which might lead him back to Meyer eventually.
That's not as good, yeah. At that point. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that Ninban's back up here on the mountain without having done Thieves Town yet. But yeah, he's at least going to give us this this hookshot cave check, which is a couple of things that Zelga's not going to be able to do. He can check the first chest in here unless he's going to start pulling off some in a bunch of red rupees and the ice rod.
That's really bad for Zelga. Unless he can hover that and chooses to do so. And he might choose not, even if he can do it, he might choose not to just because, there's two items I'm looking for. One of them can't even be there because, of course, you can't have the hookshot in Hookshot Cave unless it's in that first chest.
Yeah, that's gonna be kind of an awkward thing there for Zelga. Ninban, so we can announce pretty much there. Ninban is in go mode at about an hour and 4 minutes and 24 seconds. It looked like so. He is on his way to complete Turtle Rock. Gonna go complete Thieves Town, and then that will be that.
And Zelga doesn't choose to hover. And unfortunately, with having all the medallions, there's a good chance he is going to go ahead and enter Turtle Rock as well.
Yeah, this isn't going his way today, it looks like, because he's not going to find anything in here that he needs.
And really what it comes back to for Zelga, he could have checked that Bombos right after he could have checked it before he even went to Hype Cave. Could have checked it, actually gotten the item after Hype Cave and gotten his Master Sword. Did completely orphan it and has not been back in that area since. Not going back there makes sense because you're probably only going to go back there when you're actually ready to go into Swamp Palace. And if you're already waiting for that hookshot to get there, probably not going to go back in that area and hit the Bombos tablet while you're at it.
Yeah, this is one of those cases where, Zelga's route seemed like it was really, really, really solid, and it was a really solid, great route, except for the one item that was kind of just sitting in this, slightly awkward space. And on the other side, Ninban had basically the perfect route today.
Well, the big thing for Ninban was that because he went and did Eastern before he went up to the Tower of Terror, he had that hammer to get over to the east side of Death Mountain and get those boots a lot earlier than Zelga did. And if Zelga had those boots, I think it's a lot more likely that he does head over to that Bombos tablet. Because, Ninban routed right over to Desert, and that's a really good way of routing that, and Zelga might have done the same thing.
And you're seeing on one of the biggest differences in just items in that last torch room there. Zelga does not have the hook shot, so he had to go the long way around all of those torches. And Ninban, on the other side, he does have the hook shot, so he could just pull himself right off the platform there and save himself a good, easily 10 seconds.
Yeah, and one other point, because it is the Bombos tablet that holds that hook shot, and that's going to lead him to the ice rod. Zelga's not going to be able to save that mirror portal when he gets down to the bottom. There's absolutely no way to do it if you have to mirror again.
Saving that portal is one of those things that you always try to do, and the amount of times it actually
rarely works out.
I mean, I've lost more races to trying to save a portal than than it's actually helped me, I think. But you do it every time because you're just like, maybe this is the time.
So true. And he's got that flute, so he can go ahead and use it to flute away. But unfortunately, it's just not going to work out. Now, the only thing on Ninban's side is it's been so long that it's so rare that you do TR, six full clear crystal dungeons before you even touch Thieves Town. I just hope he remembers to go back.
Part of me is thinking that there's a non-zero chance that he runs over to GT and goes, wait, why isn't? Oh.
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen, but it certainly could.
I mean, he's got a big enough lead at this point that I actually want to see that happen, just because it would be funny.
It would be funny. But
it won't actually hurt him
No.
at all, I think, at this point. But it would be pretty. It would give me a chuckle at least. And just like that, he is through and going on his way to Trinex, as Zelda is going to give us a full look at what is in every single chest in this dungeon.
Yeah, a few nice things he could pick up, like another sword or silver arrows, but not going to be enough to give him any sort of advantage.
Alright, takes the first two heads down off of Trinex there without too much problem. Trinex shell is going to explode, and you're going to find out that this entire time he was actually a snake. Very dead snake, actually.
A snake holding some arrows. Okay.
Yep. And that's Ninban's 6th crystal, and now we get to find out, does he remember he only has 6?
And he does. Not going to get the attempt to go straight to GT. He's going to go ahead and save and quit to the Sanctuary, run on over to Thieves Town, because I still don't think he's activated that flute. He might activate before he enters Thieves Town, just to make things a little bit faster afterwards, although I'm not sure how much faster it is, considering you have to sit through that flute cutscene.
I'm pretty sure it'd actually be slower, because, I mean, he's going to save and quit. If you just save and quit out of there, it's not like you're going to end up on the top of the pyramid or anything. So.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see what he does. Yeah. But yeah, I think you're right. It's a good chance that it'd be faster just to go ahead and do the save quits instead of activating that flute. And he did go straight to the Dark World. He's not going to bother with that flute at this point.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. And Zelga's is now about to get the bad news that, sorry, this is not where your items are. Try again later.
And we do get to see a Go Mode Thieves Town. Not something you see very often. So once he gets that big key, he'll head straight to the back. Not a whole lot that's... I mean, you could still skip those chests, but a couple of them are right there in rooms you have to go to anyway, so you might check those.
He's on his way very, very quickly up to go and pull blind out of its cell there. This is just, yeah, like you said, it's not a whole lot of difference here between the two, because all of the chests are pretty much on the way. So if he wants to, he could open up pretty much every single chest.
Yeah, he'll skip the big chest, of course, but
the big chest, yeah, forget that one. But the other ones, yeah, they're right there.
They're right there.
Yeah, if you're looking for silvers, you've got a chance. You're not going to lose any time for it.
And Zelda, meanwhile, doing a bunch of boots checks here, not going to find anything that he needs at this point.
Unfortunately for Zelda, he needs to make his way to the Bombos tablet, which is one of those locations that is just, it's not a good one to have to check. It's hard to route it in without a lot of people end up routing it in when they go to do the Smith chain, which is probably on, hey, look, a sword.
We're not getting that.
Yeah.
So no fourth sword for today. Okay. Oh no. Okay, just going over to the desert area. Oh, he's gonna go ahead and clear desert. That's reasonable. Unfortunately, isn't thinking to go ahead and get Bombos on the way, but can full clear this at this point. He does have the boots to finish it off.
And has gotten blind and is running with her, him, it, blind, demon.
Sure.
Thing. Sure. Gonna take blind over to the light there, where we'll find out exactly what its true form is, and then he gets to do his little 9-hit blind.
And
dance.
what a surprise! I am not actually a maiden. I am this ugly monster thing.
My hands are fire. Don't ask me how it works. It sounds painful. Taking a few extra hits there, but gets the 9th hit, and that will put him into his way up GT. That's his 7th crystal.
And it's that time. And chat, I love you. You waited until the bot started, and thank you to Reg for going ahead and starting that off for us. See a whole lot of numbers. You want to talk about what those numbers mean?
Yeah, it is the time for the GT Big Key guessing game. Get your numbers into chat right now. I think almost all of you have already done this. But yeah, choose a number between 1 and 22 where you think that Big Key is going to be hiding here. You have until Ninban opens up GT Tower, and so you got yourself probably about a minute left to get in there. Tracy, what's your choice for the day?
Well, I will always stick with 5 just because that's the one that's won for me in the past, although I don't ever actually put it in. I did see someone else put 5-ish. That's not going to win it for you, but I appreciate the effort there.
All right, I'm going to throw in 8 just because 8 worked yesterday for the first time this entire tournament for me. So, we're running that one again here. I
also like the 1 through 22 inclusive there, but the way you've got that written, you're including decimals, so that's not going to work. As I always like to say, put whatever number you want, just don't expect to win. Integer between 1 and 22. I do like seeing creative numbers.
Everybody who wants puts in pi or something like that, you're just going like, yeah, okay, that's impressive that you know all of those numbers, but you're probably not going to win. Alright, and the 7 crystals are now into the air and spinning around a whole bunch. The tower is flashing. You're imagining right now that Zelda is breaking the seal on the tower, and Ninban is about to walk up some stairs.
And in the meantime, we did see a very impressive land mode fight from Zelda, getting his 5th crystal. I'll see if he heads over to that Bombos tablet next. Meanwhile, let's see. Number 1 is just a rupee. Not going to pick that up. And oh. Okay. Are we good now?
Yeah, this could be a difficult Big Key guessing game.
That's 2. He didn't leave, so that's 3, 4.
Hasn't left yet.
And 5.
5 is a blue cane.
Okay, which way is he going? Okay, he's going to the right side, therefore he's not picked up the big key yet.
Alright, into Hope Room, we get another small key and another small key, so we're going right side off of this.
Gonna run right past Tile Room, as one would expect.
Taking a few additional hits here. He might not make that. Okay, just in time to get
That room. That room is tough to do well, and I mean all these runners can do it well, but if you've never tried to do that room fast, it's not easy.
If you take enough hits there, things can go poorly for you. And there goes 8. 9 was there, and 10 was your big key
All
today,
right.
actually. I would like to revise my guess.
I'll just double mine. Does that count? No, of course not. And congratulations to Phoenix Archer, the winner of the big key guessing game today. And you win some swag internet points.
In fact, it looks like you won 56 swag internet points there, so you can spend them at the internet store.
Okay, not sure what else he grabbed other than that cane of Berna. Did not grab silvers, as we can see him using regular arrows here. So we are going to be most likely having a tempered sword silverless fight. And as we were doing that, Zelda has entered Misery Mire. Just gets him further and further away from that Bombos tablet.
Yeah, it's unfortunate on his side here, but yeah, this isn't where he wants to be. On Ninban's side, he basically put almost the perfect route on this.
Yeah, it's a shame. I really would have liked to see what this race would have been if Zelda had just gone to that Bombos tablet after Hype Cave with that Master Sword. That's the closest he's been to that area. Pretty much the entire race in the Dark World. But unfortunately, making that skip, reasonable skip, but just not the skip you want to make today.
Man's having a pretty smooth gauntlet here, getting a little bit of additional help there with that one Stalfos. They're gonna powder this little bunny beam to get a little bit of health, and onto our 025.
And this is where we talked about the powder earlier being a nice safety, a good luxury item, and that's one of those places where having that powder if you're low on health can really be nice. We only have 10 hearts there. Yeah, not even a second row, so.
That's one of the things when you are on kind of a god route or something. You're typically doing a silverless fight, and you typically are doing it on pretty low health, just because you haven't checked that much. I wouldn't be surprised if we get to the end here and see Ninban with something like a 120, collection rate.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me either.
Rather low.
Misfires on that fire rod, but still had enough time to get it. Gonna take that magic refill here.
Torch's room here. I can't imagine he's going to take any time to... Oh, now take it back. He is going to go ahead and check these chests here. Finds bombs and a compass. So, looks like silvers here are not in this room. Zelda on his side is showing off the spooky action glitch there for everybody, where you fire rod shots into random spots there, and it hits switches in different rooms.
Okay, we've got one more shot at silvers here. Oh, Ninban. Falling to Moldorm. We'll have to go back up and do it again.
Ninban's not having the best of luck there with Moldorms today, unfortunately. Not really mattering, but yeah, they're being kind of mean. As Cape was what was on Vigilance today. Sounds tell me that Ninban has beaten Moldorm too, and
has opened the chest
for...
and don't know what it is.
Silvers. Not silvers.
Not silvers. That's all that matters at this point.
Not silvers. Yeah, because there's nothing else that we've seen the last sword, and he already has red mail. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean the only other useful thing would have been that cape, just for to get extra little bit of safety on the Ganon fight. He doesn't need it, and we know it's not there because Zelda just got it over at Vitreous.
That's the fire shield, if I'm not mistaken. There.
Oh yeah, I don't think he had that before. And it looks like Zelga's gonna go search Skull Woods. Oof.
I mean, what Zelga's doing right now is he's basically committing to, all right, I'm in a lot of trouble here.
He's hoping it's on Ped.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm hoping the sucker's on Ped, and if it's not, I've already lost anyway, so what does it matter? And Aga 2 went down real quick on Ninban's side, and we are now off to fight. We're now off to fight the big pig here, so we'll have to see exactly what Ninban is able to do. I don't know if he's going to pull this one out. Hey, Ninban, we see you. Why am I surrounded by incompetent fools as we get the nice one-on-one it looks like here on Ganon for the first phase. 12 sword slashes there for the first 2 phases with Tempered Sword. That's all you need. Just go ahead and tank in a few hits because, I have red mail. Hey, first two slashes there in phase 2, no problem as well. On to most of the way through phase 3 here, waiting for Ganon to, stay still. All right, there we go.
Yeah, Ninban switching over to that lamp so we can go ahead and get that torchlight. And it looks like Skull Woods had her silver arrows, so Zelda might get those in just a second.
Ooh, that was a smooth-looking torch glitch.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you ended up doing it with the fire rod after all, which is a little more difficult than doing it with the lamp. Just the timing's a little bit different.
Doing it with when you're to get the torch glitch, the torch goes out when that last tile falls. Mm-hmm. So when you have the lamp, it's easy to hit because you can just spam the button there. But when you're doing it with the fire rod, you actually have to time it pretty good. And if you miss the timing, you kind of want to cry because it a lot of times you can't even complete the fight depending on what you've got hiding in your bottles.
And that's it for Ganon on Ninban's side.
Yep, that is that. And Ninban's just got to cross the bridge as Zelda picks up his 10 arrows from the pedestal.
Oh,
and
ouch.
That is a game 1 victory for Ninban. They're finishing with an SRL time of 1 hour, 26 minutes, and 1 second there. Get your GGs in chat.
Yeah, very nicely done for Ninban. But this is only game 1, so Zelda will have a chance to go ahead and change something up if he wants for game 2. And we'll see if it looks like we're going to have both of them joining us in the chat, as Zelda has forfeited from the race.
Right, and looks like we've got Ninban joining us in chat along with zelgadissan here, and GG's to you both.
Yeah, GG.
Hey, GG's, man. Yeah, sounds like you just absolutely nailed this one, man.
Yeah, I mean, both your routing with I thought was really good, except for that one unfortunate skip on your end, Zelga, missing that hookshot on the Bombos tablet. I see you've already figured out that's where it was.
Yeah, the thing with that for me was just I had just got the Master Sword from Hype Cave, but I was so focused on the Pyramid Fairy. Like if I had had the Master Sword from anything before that, like Stumpy, I would have gone straight to Bombos tablet and then Hype Cave. But instead, I was just I'll just continue the rest of this path. I'm walking because I decided not to get the hammer before the mountain, so I just felt like just go ahead and do one little skip. It can't hurt anything, right? And then it might.
Yeah, and that just unfortunately, I mean, that's the way Randomizer goes sometimes. Ninban, on the other hand, routed this a little bit differently and did get that hook shot. Although I'll tell you, Ninban, it was a little weird to see Thieves Town as your last dungeon.
Yeah, it doesn't happen often, but I liked it. And it was the god mode like Thieves Town with the big key in the first chest.
Yeah, not a term you usually use for Thieves Town either. But was there any point that you, I mean, was it constantly in your mind that you did still have to do Thieves Town? Because we were speculating that it would be very easy to forget that you did have that one more dungeon, since it's so common to finish up with TR and head over to GT.
No, I just had it in my mind. I knew I had to do it, and I just decided to go up Death Mountain in case my go mode was there, since it is a dense location. Much denser than doing like Village of Outcast and Skull Woods and all that shit in the north. So I got my go mode there, decided to, okay, well, I'm just gonna complete Turtle Rock. And after that, I went to Thieves Town. I knew I was going to need to do Thieves Town. And I never even activated my flute because it would have been a loss of time compared to saving quitting.
Yeah, we were speculating that it would probably take longer to go ahead and activate that flute at that point.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, all power to you there, Ninban. You really routed that thing and played really phenomenally. My only question for you here is at the very beginning of the game, you had like a little moment there where you picked up that hammer and you thought about saving and quitting. When you picked up that fire rod afterwards, how'd that make you feel there?
Well, I just did a PogChamp face in real life. That's how I felt. When I got the hammer, I really thought about saving quitting, but I don't know, this is a tournament match, you can't last occasion whatever's on the Armos night, so go get it now. So yeah, I was pretty happy I did it.
Yeah, and we were especially worried, like in your case, it made maybe a little more sense, since I think at the time you still didn't have the Moon Pro. Zelda, when you got over there, we were worried you're going to go ahead and save and quit out of that hammer, because you then had that Dark World access. But you did go ahead and full clear Eastern. What were your thoughts there?
Basically, kind of what you just said is that I kind of figured that Ninban would probably go to Eastern with the bow, which is part of why I put it off. I felt like the bow was probably more telling me to go to Pod. But then when I got the hammer, I just said I've got to keep going, because if he did go to Eastern early, then there's no way he would have backed out before the Armos Nights. And if he did skip Armos Nights, well, then maybe it's something I could make up. And the fire rod was there, which was awesome, but I had no expectation that it was something that I had that he did not.
Sure. Okay, so looks like your next game is tomorrow at an hour earlier, so at 5:20 Eastern time. Zelda, you gonna change anything for game 2?
I'll probably either do standard or map compass shuffle, one or the other. I'll make sure to let Ninban know pretty soon. But I think we're actually the later game tomorrow. It should be same time, just in case anybody's wanting to catch it.
Yeah, I think the other game,
the other game is
versus Weighty Worlds is
right. It's the 5:20, and then you guys will be the same time. So actually, I guess an hour and a half earlier, because 5:20 Eastern and 6:50 Eastern. So let's hope we can finish in an hour and a half so that everybody can go over to the other game. But either way, it'll be a couple of good races tomorrow.
With that, guys, any final thoughts on this seed?
No, just GGs, and thank you guys for the commentary tracking restream. I mean, there's not much you can do when your opponent essentially god routes and you do whatever the opposite of a god route is. So you just got to take those as part of rando, and we'll look forward to tomorrow.
Yeah, same. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. I mean, those are so fun matchups. Like zelgadissan is a great player, so I'm just really happy to play him again, and I hope we get a game 3.
Yeah, you and me both, man. That sounds great.
Yeah, there's been a lot of good game 3s in this tournament, so. Okay, so I guess that'll be it. But do tune in tomorrow. We do have two, like we said, we have 2 races tomorrow. The one at 5:20 Eastern, Witty Words versus Doom Tap. That'll be a really good matchup as well. Of course, I mean it's the quarterfinals. At this point, everything is a good matchup. And then at 6:50, we'll see Game 2 of Zelda versus Ninban. Also on the schedule, but not till next week, we have P Train versus Jet on Tuesday and Wednesday at 9:20 for their games 2 and possibly game 3. But also keep an eye out because there are a few other matches yet to be scheduled, so I'm sure those will come up soon as well. As for the Speed Gaming channels, we do have other things going on here. Some Super Mario Brothers 3 randomizer over on Speed Gaming 3, it looks like. Crystal's randomizer on Speed Gaming 2, and some Super Mario World on Speed Gaming 5, Azure Dreams on Speed Gaming 4. So be sure to take a look at all of those. And follow both these runners if you aren't already. Go ahead and follow them, giving us a really good race and showing us some really great things, as well as my co-commentator, Days Cloud, and our tracker, Reg. Big thank you to Regaro, pushing the buttons behind the scenes and keeping us honest and correcting us when we make mistakes in chat. Big props to him. Tracking is hard, and it's great that we have a lot of dedicated people that do that behind the scenes. And also want to thank my co-com Days Cloud, and I'll go ahead and let you have the last word.
Okay. Well, yeah. And also thank you, Tracy. It was a lot of fun commentating with you today.
Absolutely.
Also, thanks to the trackers. Thanks to everyone. Yeah, this has been a lot of fun. Hope we're gonna see you all again real soon with the races tomorrow. And other than that, guys, have a great night. Have a great day wherever you are, and we'll see you soon.